They certainly did. Took care. They took care of the ball a little bit better than us, and they certainly were better in the penalty area. And want to give them credit. They played a good football game, and we've got a lot of things to clean up. They exposed us a little bit with their pass rush, and not necessarily bringing extra, just with their ends, and certainly the penalties. We've got to get a handle on that.
Sam, I know it was fourth and real short, but when you went for it at the 50 there in the third quarter, last week you said the Sam Analytics said not to do that.
Not from the 48, but from the 49-yard line, but from the I was talking about the 35. I thought we could get it, and I went for it. Obviously, we didn't.
They outscored you 17-zip after that. How much do you think that swung the momentum? Maybe?
And I really don't know. It's hard to say because I guess we can say that all the points after that came because of that play, but I know 3 of them came off of that play. I don't know that the other 14 did. I don't know who's to know, but I know 3 of them did.
Yeah, you talk about that final drive. You guys had, I think, 5 penalties on the final drive. I think they accepted 4 of them though. What was going on? And why do you think the offensive line was having so much trouble?
They were all holding penalties. They were all holding penalties. Well, no, they wasn't. They jumped outside on one of them as well, but the rest of them were holding penalties. And when Chamblee went down, we moved Brady out to tackle and moved. Well, we moved Chamblee over to begin with because Curtis had gotten hurt. And then Chamblee went down and Curtis came back out there, but we weren't moving our feet. We're getting on edge, and they bowled us, a lot of the game. And then when you're setting for a bowl, sometimes you're susceptible for an inside move, and that's what happened. And we were holding them.
Played, 281 yards, which is surprising with the 38 points. What's your thoughts on you talked about that 4th down call at midfield? It seemed like you guys had a lot of momentum. Defense was playing well. Do you feel like that was a big momentum swing in the game? Obviously, that seems to be where things kind of turned for you.
Well, I guess I've been asked twice, so I guess the answer is yes. But I didn't. We were up 14-0, and they went up 21-0 in the first half, and I don't think it was because we went for it on 4th down. So, I think that they were making 3rd and longs, and we couldn't get them off the field. But if I had to do it again, I wouldn't go for it on 4th down. Obviously, we didn't make it.
Then you talked about the pass pro issues. Just was there anything BYU was doing that surprised you at all, or just kind of what was the issue?
No, no, not at all. There wasn't any glitches that we weren't ready for. It wasn't a blitz fest. They pounded gaps when we was trying to run the football. They whipped us. That's what happened out on the edge, and we started chipping them and all those type things. And going into the game, we really didn't feel like we would need to chip out there and things that we could get our back out in the route and all that. But they proved that they were longer, stronger than what we anticipated on watching film wise, and they got after us.
Was there a strategic or maybe X's and O's reason for KJ on 4th and 1 to not go like under center or something?
That's the 3rd question I've been asked on that. I think I've already answered the question.
I just think a lot of fans have asked, on 4th and 1, we got to get a quarterback that size.
I've answered the question.
And 2 for 13 on 3rd down tonight. What did you think the issues were there on that down?
Well, some of it had to do with distance. Some of them had to do with percentage of we're losing 1st down, so we're behind the sticks. Obviously, there was a few drops, and we had some pressure. And the pressure that BYU gave us tonight was was really probably the difference in the game as far as playing the game. I just thought they were all over us, and it wasn't necessarily a blitz fest, and so I think that affected us big time on third down.
You had another 4th and 1, down. You
We were going to go for it.
Yeah, and then you get the penalty. How tough is that? Because you feel like you're down 7, you got to keep the drive going.
The only problem there was if we go for it and we don't make it there, the game's over. And I did have the 3 timeouts, so that was a conversation that we had. Dan thought thought we could get it. But we were very, very concerned about running the sneak because they were jumping bare. They had all the guards, they had the guards in the center. And it's easy to say that you got a big quarterback and you can go get a first down. But if they're in bare and they're plugging A gaps, they basically would have 5 guys in there for your 3. So, but yeah, we jumped off sides on that one.
Well documented away from home. Just how tough is it to lose this one with what you got coming on?
Well, it's hard to lose anytime, especially because the crowd was so great and the hog-walk was so great and people were loud, and we're disappointed the home fans. That they're all hard to lose, but I don't really look at it as a 4-game stretch on the road and all that. I'm just LSU, as we all saw, played really well today, and we've got our work cut out for us, but we'll be ready to play when we go down there. But LSU next one that night, and obviously it's hard to go into Baton Rouge.
For Brady, who holds himself to such a high standard, how does he mentally turn the page from this?
I think he'll be fine. We asked him to move out there. Devin Manuel just hasn't been healthy, and got a stinger, and we keep thinking that he's going to get back, and so we made a decision on Thursday that's we played Brady on Tuesday and Wednesday at left tackle, just to make sure, because I didn't know if Dev would be able to play. But he'll be fine. He'll bounce back from it. He's won a lot of games here and been a great player for us, and he'll bounce back. He wasn't the reason we lost the game. He'll be fine.
Coach, I noticed you started Snacks and Jalen Braxton at
Yeah.
corner night. What went into that? You also rotated guys there.
Yeah, I just thought they practiced the best. We didn't practice well at corner on Tuesday. We made the decision that we need to be a little bit better there. So Braxton had earned that right, and we thought we might be a little bit better putting Snacks at corner and having Hard play. Obviously a safety and a Hard.
And Kingston, number 82 for them. I went back and looked. He hadn't played much the first 2 games, but he had a touchdown pass, caught a touchdown. Did it surprise you a little bit with what he was able to do for them?
Well, he's a good kickoff return guy, so I knew that he had a lot of talent. We were nervous about him there, but he made some really good players on us, and the little screen, I believe they threw it to him. The little throwback screen was, it was a great call, and really wasn't nobody in front of him, to be honest with you.
Scored so quick on the long run by Green, and the punt returns 14-zip. Do you think? I know you didn't think this, but do you think there was a feeling on the team that, hey, this is going to be easy?
I don't think so. I told the team at halftime, thank the Lord for adversity, because we had it in the first half, and then we came back and went up 3, and BYU played a really good game. They played a physical game, and so we've got a lot of work to do. But they did a better job with it than we did, because they were in it too. They were down 14, down 10, all this kind of stuff, and they came back and won the game. So, but I thought at halftime we were in good shape and came out and obviously 3 and out, went and scored, and then stopped them again. Had the ball, didn't make it on 4th and 1, and then they went down, kicked the field goal, and then after that we're down. They scored 14 in a row. We threw a pick. So
you got some good leaders on this team, like KJ and the older guys. What was your message to the team, and how do you think y'all will bounce back from that?
Well, we played hard. I mean, we played hard. We just didn't play smart. So we've got to do a better job of playing smart. Got to do a better job of holding on to football. You know, we had 2 turnovers, and we haven't had any all year. You know, and that's credit to BYU. They're knocking it out, and they're in passing lanes and all those kind of things. But that's 2 more turnovers than we've had all year. We missed a field goal. You know, we hadn't had an opportunity to kick one. You know, so just a few uncharacteristic things went on today that that's my responsibility to get fixed.
Guys do a lot of offense. I know, but you have talked about going back to the spring, you know, some issues with that tackle and, you know, pass protection stuff. Is this something that you feel like you can fix this season, or is it something that you're going to have to adjust what the game plan is?
Well, first of all, I think the kids from BYU are pretty good. I think they're pretty good football players. You know, yeah, I think so. I mean, we've got some hands issues and things of that. Now, I'm not talking about placement of hands. I'm talking about we've got, you know, 2 of our 5 linemen are casted up pretty good. So we've got some hand issues that we've got to fix because it's hard to, you know, grab. I know everybody say, well, you grab because you had holders, but you understand what I'm saying. It's hard to get a feel in there. I'm not overly panicked. We're just going to have to chip. We're going to have some help. We're going to have some tight ends help, especially when we continue to go into teams like BYU and continue to go into the SEC.
Yeah, a lot of touchdown runs up the middle and not getting a whole lot of yards, but was thinking you eventually just kind of soften them up.
You know, I think we went into the game thinking that if we could get 3 or 4 yards, we were trying to get 4. And if we get 3 or 4 yards that we could, you know, eventually break. And we were just trying not to go negative on first down. You know, we were trying to get 3, 4, you know. Obviously, we think 4 yards on first down is a good play for us. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. You know, we for whatever reason, if we pull right now on a stretch play, it seems like we're going to lose a couple of yards or we're going to get 12. You know, it just kind of one way that's a feast or famine play for us. And actually, AJ's first run was just a full zone stretch play like what we ran all last year. But we felt like we could run the ball inside is why we were running it in there.
You guys only gave up 281 yards, but 38 points on the board. What did you think about the defense overall?
Well, just too many mistakes. You know, they had some guys wide open. It's one thing to get beat because you got 2 good players out there. It's another thing to not cover a guy. And obviously their first score, the trick play, we lost the tight end, completely lost it. And obviously on their little screen that they had run back, we didn't have anybody on him. So we've got to do a better job of assignment football over there. But again, they played hard. They tackled for the most part. We had a couple of BYU made us miss in open space a couple times, big third downs. So we've got to improve there as well.
Y'all recovered just before the half. There was an unsportsmanlike penalty. Did you get an explanation on what happened on that?
They said that our kids were trying to go into the stands, and so I don't know if they were or not, but they said that they told them not to jump in the stands. They didn't tell them if they jumped in or not, but I don't think so. But that's what they told me.